And thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today's presenter is Amy Kyle, and she'll be talking about cultivating collaboration with Wakelet.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for jumping on and joining me for the session today. Hope you all had a lovely lunch. Just informed that you guys had lunch. So I hope it was a good one. But yes, today I'll be leading the session all about using collaboration in Wakelet and how you can use that in your classrooms with your students, but also with your teachers and with your peers as well. So firstly, as an introduction, my name is Amy. If you were on the previous session, apologies. You might be hearing some info you heard last time. But for those of you who are new, my name is Amy. I work on the community team here at Wakelet. So it is my job to make sure that educators across the world are getting the absolute most out of Wakelet. So I get to deliver training sessions like these ones. And I also help out on the support side as well. So if ever you think of any questions during this session or afterwards, please do feel free to reach out. Always happy to help and support in using Wakelet, making sure that, if you have any questions, they're all answered. So also, another thing to note is we're actually based in Manchester in the UK. So that's where I am right now. So evening time over here. So we've just done dinner while you guys have done lunch. But yes, I'm happy to be speaking to you all today. So I'm going to jump straight in. And like I said, if there are any questions during, please do pop them in the chat. I'll jump back and leave a little bit of time at the end so we can go through any questions that you do have as well. But I first wanted to start out by giving you an overview of what Wakelet actually is. So we're a content curation platform. We basically allow you to save all of your content down into one place. So any kind of links that you want to save down from across the web, you can save down into what we call collections. So all of the features that I'm showing you, it's completely unlimited. It is free to use. You can have as many of these collections as you like of these resources. And you can create as many of these collections and even use it with your students absolutely for free. We do have a paid district plan. So if you want to know more about that and you want to look to roll out Wakelet across your school and district, we do help with rostering and analytics and PD and things like that on that side. And a couple of extra features there, but everything I show you, you can sign up to wakelet.com and it's absolutely free to do so. You aren't going to reach a certain limit or anything like that. It asks for a payment or anything. It is free and you can have as many of these as you like. So this is a collection here, and this is a resource collection I've put together for this session. So I will share this out into the chat, so you've got that link afterwards. But for now, I just want to jump back into the user library that we have here. So this, when you sign up to Wakelet, this will be the page that you kind of greeted with. You may not have all these collections, well, you won't have all of these collections to start with, but it's super easy to start creating collections here. And within these collections, like I said, you can really make it visual for your students, for your teachers, whoever you're sharing that out with, and really deliver all of that content, but very much contextualize it and deliver instruction with those as well. So we have the ability to put in YouTube videos, and they will play within your collections without the ads as well. So it's really handy for any presentations or if you are sharing that with students. You can add any kind of articles or anything like that. A really cool thing about this as well is that you can kind of edit and manipulate the items that are in there. So again, if you wanted, it will pull through all of this information for you just simply by copying and pasting it in. However, if you wanted to change this, make it your own a little bit more, deliver a little bit more instruction or make it clearer for your students, you can do so that way as well. So you can change the image it pulls through, you can change the title and even description there as well. Maybe you want to put a few bullet points of what you want people to think about when they're reviewing the article. It's entirely up to you, and you can very much display and showcase the resources you want to in your own personal way. You can have images in there, text as well, any kind of social link. So if like me, like the Twitter, great resources out there. You can put any tweets in there, great for showcasing or recording any events, or if you know there's a particular topic that a particular user shares some great resources about, you can collate all of those resources together. Anything, Instagram links, Facebook links, podcasts, anything you like, you can save down into a Wakelet collection. And then a really great thing about this, like I said, it is a case of simply copying and pasting it into this little bar here, and that will pull through that information. You've also got the ability to add text, images, bookmarks, just them PDFs, and with the integrations that we have here, you can actually search for content whilst you're in Wakelet. So you could be browsing and you can then save them down, but you can actually do that from within as well. And you'll notice that you can link up existing platforms that you have, so your Google Drive, OneDrive, Adobe Express documents, anything like that, any presentation slides you've done, you can pull those into Wakelet. So Wakelet is a really nice way to house all of those resources, house all of those items that you want to then display and tell a story with and deliver that content the best way for your students or your teachers to get the most out of those resources. So really easy to do in terms of sharing those out. Once you've put something like this together and you want to share it, you can go to the share option just here. One thing to note, your collections by default are private. If you want to allow sharing, you just click that little toggle on there, and then you can send out this link to whoever you're sharing that with. Now, they can access it without having to sign up to Wakelet, so you don't have to worry about your students having to have another login or anything like that. They'll be able to access it without having to sign up at all. You can even share it with a QR code, embed it into your LMS. So if you're using an LMS or you've got a website or blog that you want to embed it into, you can grab the code there, or even share it directly to classrooms and teams as well. So you can also publish it to your profile. So if you wanted to make this public, that would then appear in your public profile, and you can access this by going to this top corner here and going to your public profile. And what this allows you to do is actually organize multiple collections, create almost like a mini website for either yourself or to house lots of resources, like a resource hub that you want to share out with teachers or students. So within this profile, then you can add some sections in here, and you can organize them how you want to. And then it makes it super easy to share multiple collections at once. So rather than having tens of links in an email, tens of links in a document that you're sharing out, you're now sharing out with just one link all of the different links that are in these collections as well. So it's a great way to kind of create that one-stop shop of all of those resources that you want someone to have access to as well. So this is your public profile. There's a few fun things you can do with that. Add your bio in there. We do have a lot of people using it for portfolios, either professionally, or we do have student portfolios. If you're on my previous session, learn a little bit more about that. But with this, you can edit your profile. You can change your cover image just here, at names, put your links in and things like that. And it's a great way to actually interact and find other users who are using the platform as well. You'll notice on here, if I jump back into my home area, we've also got up here your search and explore. So if you're ever looking for a little bit of inspiration, if you go onto the explore here, there's loads of great collections that have been made, templates and things like that that you can go from. So I'm going to jump back to my collection just here. And we are focusing predominantly on collaboration. So I wanted to show you how that works with Wakelet, and then give you some of your ideas in which you can use that. So what I've done is I have included a few resources, particularly if you're new and getting started to Wakelet, so you can have a little look in those and work your way through those as well, if you're not too familiar with the platform. But again, just to highlight a few key points there, that you can work alongside a lot of the tools that you're already using. So I'm actually also going to share out this collection here, and I'm going to demo how you would join a collection or how you would use the collaboration feature with this, but also by creating this Wakelet back channel that we can have in the background, and you can put your comments in throughout the session today. So if I jump into this here, so this is a collection that I set up. And so collaboration on Wakelet, you can use in lots of different ways. one of which could be something like a back channel or a kind of live class discussion. And what you could do is you can put your title in, put a bit of a description, or maybe use that as a bit of instructional as well, especially if you've got students using it. You could put in a few steps that they need to take to join this collection. And then even put a bit of instruction in here. Now I've got this set out as a mood board. If you ever want to change the layout, it's just that icon up here. And then you've got the different layouts that you can access just along here. And I think mood boards are really great for that kind of visual class discussion, or even kind of throwing in lots of ideas and things like that. It is very visual. It's kind of like the mood board layout. So a really good one for collaboration. Same with columns as well, but a little bit more of an organized way to do that as well. But I've put that in there. And so when you've put something like this together, maybe you want to pose a simple question to your students. How is your day going? Anything you like. Maybe there's a book that you're reading together and you want to hear their feedback on it. You could set this up at the beginning of a lesson and start getting those discussion points going that way. So I'm going to go to the share option again. And so I'm not actually going to use this link because this is to allow someone to view my collection. So that's view only. But if you look just below, there is an option to collaborate now. So if I grab that link, and it works in a very similar way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how that works. So if I don't have a Wakelet account, so I'm going to go into a private window here and just showcase what this would look like if I'm a student or a teacher joining this collection without an account. So I'm simply going to follow that link that you've shared out with me. Now, it's not going to prompt me to sign up. All it's going to prompt me to do is put my name. And that's just so the person, the owner of that collection, you know who is adding what content. Now, what I can do is now, rather than just view this collection, I can actually add to this collection. So I could paste in links, I could add some text in there, I could add an image, graphic, or anything like that, an infographic. I could submit a PDF. Maybe I've done some work on a PDF. It's really great for submissions. Or I could even connect to my drives just on here. You'll notice it doesn't have full access to all of the integrations, and that's because I'm not verifying that I'm 13 or over. Therefore, some of the integrations do have that age restriction on them. If you were joining and you did have a Wakelet account, you would have full access to all of those integrations there as well. But for those of you who don't have a Wakelet account, you can just jump on. And what I'd love for you guys to do is actually join the collection, and throughout this session, let me know of any ideas, thoughts, takeaways from the session that you'd like to share. Maybe either from this session or a previous Wakelet session. Let me know what you think of Wakelet so far, and possibly some ideas and ways that you think that you might use Wakelet in the future. So I'm going to jump back. And I'll share this link with you in the chat now, so you'll be able to join that. All you need to do, like I said, join that link and you'll be able to actually add into this collection. If you do want to do any kind of graphics or anything like that, that's fine, but predominantly text, just to give a few thoughts and updates on there as well. So I'm going to jump back, give you that link there, and like I said, just show you the process. So go to that share option just there, collaboration, grab that link. I'm going to pop that in the chat just now. Ooh. Just might need to stop sharing to jump back for some reason. But yeah, I'll pop that in there. And then if you join that, like I said, if you have a Wakelet account, fantastic. It will take you straight through. If you don't, still absolutely fine. You can still join the link. You can still get involved. It will just ask you to provide a name just so I know who's adding what. One thing also to mention is that you'll notice that when you are on a collection, you can edit your own pieces of content that you've added to the collection. However, you cannot make any changes to anyone else's work. So this is really important because, of course, particularly if you're asking a student to collaborate on a collection, you don't want them interfering with others' work. You just want them to be able to change anything that they've done. So they only have access to do that. Now, just a few features with also the collaboration part there. You can invite with the link. You can use a join code as well. The QR works great, especially if you're sharing that with littles and you want them to join that way, classrooms and teams. You'll also notice you can reset the link and code at any time. So if you're wanting to maybe end the session, maybe you're moving on to the next activity, or you've done it as a submission piece and your the deadline's been met, you can reset that link and code at any time. So if you would like to end that session, that will mean that that link that I've shared out would be invalid if I click that. I can also invite people via email or username, but as you can see, we've got a few people jumping on there as well now. You'll be able to change them if you wanted to. So if I wanted to allow someone to edit each other's work, or edit, say I'm sharing this with a teacher, I'm asking a teacher to join me, and I'm happy for them to have editing permissions there as well, I can change anyone to can edit as well. So that will mean that they'll have the permission to change those. So with those, you can change it to can edit at any one time. So again, like I said, if you are changing this for teachers, you can allow them to make changes. But anyway, I'll keep that going on in the background, and then we can take a look at it towards the end of the session. But like I said, any questions, thoughts, ideas, please pop them in there, and we'll have a little look at the end there. So on that, I wanted to share some examples of how the collaboration feature can be used, particularly with students, but also with teachers as well. So group presentations are a great way for students to use Wakelet. I mean, just doing a presentation or research project in general is a great way for them to be able to use Wakelet. And what this teacher has done is they have invited 4 students to work on this collection, and they have built this collection together. So they're all able to work on this together and build and have their own input. And then eventually at the end, they've got the product of an actual presentation that they can use. So like you notice, I was using a collection to actually present this session. It's a great way to be able to sort of like give that storytelling way of delivering that content. So it's a great way to use it as a presentation. But you can see there's some text in here, some introductions, some graphics that they've added. You'll notice on the pieces of text as well, we do have the Microsoft Immersive Reader tool built in. So if you are sharing a collection, but whether it's collaboratively or whether it is just sharing it for someone to view, they can access this at any time. So if you are sharing that with anyone with visual impairments and you want them to change, or they want to be able to change the text size or backgrounds and things, they can. And you can even translate language there as well. So if you are sharing that with someone who speaks another language, they'll be able to access this content as well, and they'll be able to understand and read the instructions you've put in there. So as you can see, these are all different items added by different people. You'll notice it doesn't have who added on what on this, and that's because it's not my own collection. So if it was my own, I can see who's added what. However, with this being someone else's, they can see it, I can't. And that's so when you're putting that together, it's almost brought all together as one collection. You've got images and infographics here. One thing I love about this is they actually did part of the project as doing YouTube, showcasing some of the research and things that they've done. So they were able to put those in there as well. And like I said, it just gives it in one place that they can all work and collaborate in one space together as well. And at the end, they've put together a great presentation that they can then share out in class or share with their peers as well. So that's a really great way that you could use that with your students. This is a really lovely idea of using this actually across your district as well. So Lois Alston is one of our fantastic ambassadors, and she uses it for larger collaboration projects, particularly ones that she's done across schools and districts, because as a tech coach, she visits lots of different schools, and she loves finding new ways to kind of bring them all together and also give them a place to showcase what they've been doing across different schools as well. So this is a Day of the Dead door contest that they were doing, and what she asked is, she sent out that collaboration code, and they were all able to input their images of the doors that they've done for the competition. So it's a really nice way of the school being able to see what each other has been up to. It kind of promotes that friendly competition as well. You can share this with parents. So once you've got this final product, it's a really nice one to send home for parents so that they can see what the students across different schools in the district have been up to as well. But it's a really fun, simple idea. But again, it just brings all of those in together, and they can see what's been produced here as well. So again, a really nice way to be able to bring together everyone's work and showcase and highlight that. And you could do that with any kind of project. It could be an event going on around. It could be absolutely anything that you're wanting to showcase, any displays that have been done, or even just any great mentions. What you could put out is something collaborative. Send a collaborative link and say, put your week's highlights in there, and then you've got all the highlights from different schools going on, and you can see what each other's been up to that way as well. So it's a really nice one, like I said, also to send home to family. And that was simply done again by setting up a collection like I just showed you and sending out that link. So it's really easy to get them involved. They don't have to have a Wakelet account to be able to do that. We also have a lot of librarians using it as almost like providing a virtual or digital library, using it for book reviews. So breaking it down using the column layout, just like this one here. What you've got is the books just here, image of that and who it's by, but then you've also got these reviews underneath as well. So you could do this really nicely collaboratively. You could ask people to join that, add their own ideas and thoughts about a particular book. It could just be one, but it could be as full as this one with lots of different genres, with lots of different books in there as well. And you could build something like that over time. It wouldn't have to be a one-off project or anything like that. I've seen some great collaborative collections where maybe a column for each student who's working on a particular area of a project or doing some kind of research on a particular area. They each have their column. You can ask them all to join. Then they submit their work into different columns. The column layout is a really great way to organize that content. And you can have as many of these as you like. You can add on as many collections, as many columns, I should say, as you like within that collection. So again, it's a really nice way to highlight different people's work, but have it also in one place for yourself as well. And if you're sharing this out with others, it's a great then one-stop resource for them to be able to access. But like I said, this is a great way and great one that you could do with teachers or with students. And there's lots of ways that then you could change that around and make it how you'd like to make that one as well. A really fun one, and again, similar to what I have showcased, something like a class discussion, just to get your students a little bit more engaged and sort of thinking. Again, you can just pose a simple question, but you could do something like this playlist example. So Tisha on the team, one of her first collections collaboratively that she sent out to us all, or she asked us to pick a song that you would choose to enter a room with for the rest of your life. Like what song would it be? So this is a really fun one, but another great way of doing this is maybe creating a class playlist or something like that. With the festive season coming up, you could do something fun and collaborative that way. So you could ask everyone to input their favorite festive songs or anything like that, and they can then have that playlist and maybe play a song a day or something like that. But this is a really fun way, fun activity to get your students engaged and using it, something like this. So this
Amy,
is
in the chat, Amy, there's a question about, is there integration with Canvas?
So yes, fantastic question, thank you. So when you're sharing these collections out, you can actually embed a collection into Canvas. So if you wanted to use the embed link just here, so any collection like this one, if you grab that embed code, I'm not sure how it translates on the Canvas side. I know they have the ability to enter an embed code. And then what you can do is you can save these collections in there. This embed will still remain all interactive. And what you can also do is if you are making updates on Wakelet, that will still transfer to how it looks in Canvas as well. So A great way to do that is to combine the two and have your resources displayed in there as well. So it kind of intertwines that way. But yeah, any other questions like that or on that one, please do let me know. And if I don't know now, I can find out for you. But yeah,
thank you. The embed code does work. I build the classes, so that does help. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, great. So yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about Wakelet is it works very much hand in hand with a lot of tools. It allows you to combine them all together, but also showcase them across different platforms as well. But as you can see with this example just here, it's a really fun way for your students to get involved this way. As you can see, this is the collection I'm part of, so I can see who's contributed what. And I can see all of the different songs and things that have been provided by all of my teammates here. So this is a really fun one. Like I said, it could be literally any kind of question you want to pose, or you want to build a playlist for your students or something like that, and then they can take that with them as well. So really nice idea, a bit of a fun one, particularly if you're starting a lesson with them. So I also wanted to highlight another collaboration feature we have on Wakelet, and that is Wakelet Spaces. So I wanted to show how that would work, because what Spaces allows you to do is actually work on multiple collections at once. So rather than just joining one collection, like you're doing now with that collection, you can actually collaborate on multiple collections at once. So this is really great, particularly if you're building something or wanting to build something with your teachers. Maybe you want to put together a resource hub that you can all have a little bit of input into. So I'm going to jump back over to this area just here, and you'll actually see all of my spaces alongside. I do have quite a few because I actually kind of use them as almost like a folder system as well, because spaces can also be, they're kind of like separate profiles. If you think of a space as separate to your main profile, it's another sort of subsection there. So with spaces, to create a space, go to add space just here. It'll ask you just for your name just here, and then you'll be able to change the icon in here and create that space just there. So as an example, I use as an example, I used this one with my team, and we had a project to put together some resources for anyone basically moving to Manchester. So we wanted to highlight different things to do, different restaurants, places to visit, places to go. So within this space, this is where we've all been working. These are all individual collections. And what you can do is when you've set up a space like this, you'll see here that you've got the settings and options here. But what I can do, I don't actually own the space, so I can't do that in here. My apologies. But what you can do is actually, once you've been invited to a space, you can now work in any of these collections. So it's a really nice way to then collaborate and use any kind of collections here. If I take the Wakelet team one here, again, I use this one as a way to use that as presentation resources with a colleague of mine. So again, a really nice one to be able to set up there. If I go to this community one that I have here, once I've set up that space, what I can do is I can go to this little members button just here, and that will showcase what I can do in terms of inviting people. So if I've invited someone, this is one that I've been collaborating with James on. So you can see my collaborators there. And so myself and James can now collaborate on any of these collections. I can actually add a collection. So if I've been invited to this space, or if I have put this together, I can actually create collections with this, or I can edit and add to any of the collections that are already in here as well. I can also choose whether I want these public or create a profile for them. So if I wanted to actually publish this space, I could almost create a almost like a micro page, and I've got a few examples that I'll showcase to you. So if I wanted to publish them, I could do so here, and then those collections are visible and they act very much like your public profile. So then you could share them out multiple ones at once as well. So Spaces is a great way, like I said, to collaborate on multiple collections at once. So if you're using this with your students, you can do so. It does require a single sign-on option for this one. They would have to create the account through single sign-on. They can use Google, Microsoft, Facebook. There's a few options there. Probably Google, Microsoft will be the ones that they use. But they can use it that way. They can sign up through that way. And that just means that they can return to it, because you'll notice with the collection that you're joining now, if you do leave that collection, close it down, and then join back up, you won't be able to edit the work that you've done previously, because it doesn't remember that that's you, because it's not taken any credentials there. However, with the Spaces option, you can use a single sign-on and it will remember that that is that person's work, and they'll be able to make those edits again. So like I said, Spaces, there's lots that you can do with it. It's a really great one that you can use with your teachers, particularly if you're working on group projects, or you're wanting to even have a space for each department, or even each class. You can have those separated into different spaces that way as well. And then, like I said, with this one, if I jump back, if you did want to then publish it, it looks a little bit like that. So I can view this as a public profile. And then it's all of those collections housed in one place there. So this looks very similar to your profile, but it's kind of like one hub of these resources. And within each of them, I can access all of the different resources that are in here as well. So again, great way to build sort of a one-stop shop for all of those items and those articles that you're wanting to pull together. Also, if you're wanting to share that out, it's simply with one link and you're sharing out multiple collections at once as well. So a really nice way to use that. One thing to note as well with Spaces is you don't have to have all of your collections within that space public. So if you want to create a profile, you can do, but then you can actually choose which ones that you want to make public. So if I jump back here, if I do want to actually change the settings of any of them on the share options just here, I can do so. Again, I don't own this one, but yeah, you can change them so that you're only actually publishing or making public the ones that you want to, so you can keep a few hidden there as well if you just want a few private ones that you work with teachers, but then you're happy for a few to go publish on the profile as well. So if I jump back to my collection just here, there's a few examples of how that's been used and that can be used in a really great way. I've also included a little how-to in there as well. So if you're wanting to have a little look into that and try it out later on, please do. And that's a really nice little step-by-step guide of how you do that. So I'm going to go back to this one, but I actually want to jump to this one first, because I think this is a really powerful way of showcasing how that can be used. So if you're teaching a particular topic and you want to put together a one-stop shop for all of your students' resources, this is a great way to be able to house all of these. So this could be done with multiple teachers that you have, and you can collaborate and use these together. And then you've got all of these different sections, all of these different modules, if you like, or topics that you're going to be covering. And you kind of set up all of these vetted articles and links that they can then have access to. So you don't have to worry about getting sort of wiki answers and things like that. You're happy for your students to use all of these resources, and they're then just in one place for them. They can just access them really easily and go across to different modules, units, or different topics there as well. And that could be in any kind of subject you want. You can use that across multiple different ones if you wanted to. Again, even have a section for each. Your profile is very versatile, so what you want to create is entirely up to you. This is a really cool one for actually parent resources. So this was put together to showcase and share out resources strictly for parents, because as I mentioned before, once you share out that link to whoever you want to view that, if this is a published or if it's a public profile like this one, then they'll be able to access that without having to sign up or access it that way. They don't have to make log into any portals or anything like that. Parents will be able to just access this resource that you've put together for them. So again, really nice way to organize and showcase lots of different links there. And again, if you want to do that collaboratively, you can have other teachers working on this as well with you, and put them all in one place. But this really does enhance that sort of parent home and school communication, giving them this one-stop shop of all of these resources. And the great thing also about this is, once you share out that link, you can keep updating this. It doesn't have to, it doesn't have to end. You can keep showcasing and uploading different collections onto here, and they've got that link. You can refer back to it later on. A lot of educators will use this as a newsletter or way to house all of their newsletters. And again, you can, when you want to add a new newsletter to the profile, you can just ping everyone a message to say, I've had a new newsletter. You can check it out on the Parent Resource Hub. That it doesn't have to change. So they've got one link where they can always access all of this vital information for them as well. So you can see how you could do this across different subject areas and across different topics, and for basically anyone in your learning communities as well. They'll be able to access these resources really easily. So particularly if you're delivering any content home, it's a great way to do so. You also know it's going to get to the parent, it's not going to get lost along the way, and they've got access to all of this as well. This is a great one. It's almost like a digital library, which is fantastic, but also a way of keeping everyone up to date. So if there are any events going on within the school, they are able to put them all into a collection like this one, even break it down, as you can see, in different topics, different events that are going to be going on. And they're able to see the resources for them, and even what they're going to be doing for those particular events, if they're doing something particularly special that students need to get involved in, or teachers, or even given the option to do so. So if there's particular events, providing some resources so that teachers can maybe apply that in lesson and build an activity around a particular event there. As you can see, different resources and events there, even library ones. I got a few tweets in here as well, but just a few links that they can all access, that they're able to look into as well. And like I said, it's a one-stop shop for all of these pieces there. So any kind of resources that you want to push out to your teachers, push across your school, they can have access to all of these as well. So this is kind of like your digital library, where they can access this. And we have a lot of librarians in the community using it for something like this, so they can display and put it all in one place. Because of course, even if you're tech coaching or delivering sessions, and you're delivering different training and things like that, you want your teachers to have that one place that they can get to and access all of these resources. And again, something like this, because it's almost like a microsite, like a mini website that they have access to, you can work together on this with a team as well. So another one that I wanted to highlight is actually one that we worked together with one of our ambassadors and Climate Action as well, to put together this book list for teachers. Again, a really nice way of having everyone in one place, collaborating, sharing their ideas, and then building something fantastic as a resource that looks like this, that then can be shared out to others as well. So if you go down, and this is another way, you can do this within Spaces, or you can do this on your public profile. You can make sections, and you can actually share out different resources across different sections and organize it how you want to as well. So as you can see, it's got a reading list broken into different ages and age groups there that they can access. So all the reading lists in regard to those. And it also has additional resources here. One of the ones I absolutely love is the featured activities. So these are all Wakelet activities that they can do with students. So you've got the book review one here, and it's actually built as a template. So one thing you may not be familiar with Wakelet is that you can build collections as templates. We give you the ability to actually allow others to copy it from, It'll always be credited, how you can see it here. However, this is a great one for sharing collections with either students or teachers, and having them actually work through this. So maybe you're putting together a lesson plan, an activity like this one, and they just need a little few like prompts and things, and you can share that out really easily. So in terms of collaboration, when you're sharing these for others to use, you can then save that down and use it later on, or just copy that and make a copy of it so that you can, you know, amend it, change it how you want to do so, and then make a version of your own as well. But there's some great ones in here. Like I said, I've included this in the collection there because it is a great resource and it's got a few fantastic ideas in there as well. But as you can see, really simple, really nice and clear and structured, but great resource for teachers to be able to very much make them make those collections themselves, and work from it in future as well. So there's lots of resources in there that you can have a little look into, and hopefully that's given you a bit of idea and inspiration as to how you can use Wakelet for collaboration. Of course, if you have any more questions about spaces and things like that, please do reach out. But I'm going to jump back to our collaborative collection just here and see if there's any comments coming through. As you can see, just coming through on here. So someone asking, is it easy to use? I believe so, yes. We pride ourselves on being super easy to use. There are some you know, web page like builders and things like that that can be a little bit tricky, but because Wakelet is so versatile, you can use it for lots of different ways, and it's super easy to do. So if you're going to build a collection like this one, it's simply a case of going to that bar there and copying and pasting link addresses in there, or adding text, adding images, adding bookmarks, PDFs, or using that integration just there. And once you've done that, it's a case of going to that share. You can very much make these your own. We've got multiple layouts and design options. You can change your cover image. Again, it's for you to make very much your own, and then share it out really easily as well. So yes, we do pride ourselves on being super easy to use, but of course there's always support if you do need it. So if there is anything you're not too sure of, please do let us know, and we're always doing sort of training and sessions and things like that as well. So always happy to answer any questions about sort of the technical side, or how you can put something like this together. But when you're in your home area, just like here, it's a case of going to that create collection. It's almost like a blank canvas when you do, but it kind of prompts you along the way as well as to what you can build. Another really great one, particularly if you're getting kind of a top tip here, if you are starting to work on building Wakelet collections, and you're wanting to just start by saving down content, because sometimes you might not know what collection you're wanting to build just yet. And if you are new, you can just start by building up your bookmarks. And a really great way to do that is by downloading the browser extension. We do have it available on Chrome, Safari, and I always forget the other one. I have to double check. But you can download that on your browser. And what that means is you don't have to actually be in Wakelet to save that down. So if I wanted to just go to maps just there, like I'm on maps, and I wanted to save that into a Wakelet collection, I can do so by clicking on that little W in the top. I have mine pinned just here, and then I can save it to my bookmarks, or I can save it straight into a collection there as well. So if I want to save that to my bookmarks, I can then save that for later on. So you don't have to be in Wakelet to actually start saving down those bookmarks, to start to then build them later on as well. But like I said, you can build something super easy, a lesson plan, a newsletter, really easily, and it looks really visual with lots of help with lots of different integrations there as well. You'll notice if you go to the layouts and just here, the design options, I should say, you've got a few options in terms of what cover images you want. So the Unsplash library is a free library of copyright-free images that you can use. You can design it with Canva if you want to as well, choose GIFs from Giphy, or even upload any images that you have saved down already. So again, really easily, really quickly, you can start building really beautiful collections as well. So great question. But yeah, if you ever need any support, please do let me know. It's just someone asking about a hub for research projects, especially in an online class where students do some work independent of the instructor. That's fantastic. Yeah, have them working in their own place. I think the spaces functionality would be great for that, because like I said, you can assign them a collection within that space and they can just work in it and start building up then a whole hub that you have to showcase and share that work at the end as well. So great comment there. Once you've created a collection, can you rearrange the resources easily or add, edit and revise the content? Laurie, great question. So yes, when you have created a collection like this one, I'll grab one of my ones over here. So once you've added this content in, you can easily move it around. It doesn't have to stay where it is, because although the bar is here, kind of by default, it'll always be at the top. You can actually use that little plus and add content wherever you'd like within. You can also grab different items and move them around like this. So if you wanted to move them, you can do, or you can move something to the top or bottom, or just one up, one down if you want to. And then in terms of actually changing the items themselves, there's a few different editing options. So on any item that pulls through, automatically it will pull through that title, that description, an image and the source and where that's come from. What you can edit is the description, title and image. So if you go to those three dots and go to edit there, you can change all of this if you wanted to. So if you wanted to shorten that down, or maybe you wanted to deliver a little bit more context, maybe you want to put a few bullet points in the description there. So if it is an article, you want your students to be thinking about these 3 points when they're looking through that article. What information are you wanting them to pick out from that? And kind of guide them that way. So you can very much manipulate it to how you want to deliver that content as well. You can change the image if you don't like the one that's been pulled through, or you want to give it or want to design something yourself, you can do so that way. That's really handy with PDFs, because it will pull through kind of like the PDF image, and you can make changes on that. You can also change and edit with images. You can add some text in there, and you can add a description. So again, if you didn't want a whole text box with different information that way, you can just add it as a description in the image just there as well. So there's lots of ways that you can very much make this your own. Like I said, it doesn't have to stay put when you've put it somewhere, but it makes it just super easy to add things in down the line as well. Or if you're wanting to change it around, like you're doing a lesson plan or newsletter, you can just add it where you want to as well. And like I said, with the integrations we've got, you can combine all of those things. So it's super easy to then search for content while you're actually in Wakelet. So browser extension is great for saving down content when you're on the web and you're wanting to pull those in. But the integration bar allows you to actually search for content within that as well. I'll just go through a few of these just before we jump off. Laurie asking, could I add an Edpuzzle, Quizlet or other quiz application to the collection? Yes, you can. Yeah, any kind of link really does work great in those. I believe I'm not 100% sure, but with the embed, I believe certain ones will be kind of interactive within. So it would just be a link, I believe, with this one. So will it the function just like it would if I sent a link? Yes, exactly. It's exactly the same link. Wakelet is hosting the links, so they'll still be able to follow it just like they would if you just sent it to them. It's exactly the same. If I wanted to put an invite link to a collection in a collection, then it would still invite someone to that collection. It would still do what the purpose of that link is to do. So with Edpuzzle, I'm pretty sure they're kind of embedded into collections as well, but I'm not 100% sure. I would have to check that with an example there. But what I mean by that is some integrations that we do have. You've got YouTube ones in here. They're all embedded, flip links. So if you're doing flip videos, Canvas, Moat links, audio, things like that. Even if you're doing Genie presentations, a lot of these are actually interactive within there. Even Miro boards. so I can see the board and actually interact with this while I'm in the collection. So there's certain ones that you don't have to jump out to. Certain ones like this one, Kahoot, you would have to follow that link and then join it that way as well. I'm not 100% how sure on Edpuzzle, but I know the link does work in there. And like I said, like bouncy links and things like that, these are all interactive within there as well. So lots of different links that you can put in there. Like I said, there's not many that I've come across that don't work within a collection. Any really. The only thing I'd say is when the link breaks, the only way the link would break is if it's removed from the original. So if you're using a quiz link and the quiz is taken down, or it's the end of that session for that particular quiz, the link would be broken because it's hosting, Wakelet's hosting the link, so it wouldn't have that connection to it anymore. So yeah, I hope that clarified that one, but please let me know if thank you so much, Laurie. I do appreciate it. Suzanne talking about creating an online gallery of student work. Fantastic. Yes. In a previous session about portfolios, we were touching upon having students documenting their progression in different work, because it doesn't have to be something digital, but they can make a digital copy of it. And then they've got that one place where you can access all of the work and see development over time as well. So yeah, great idea there. Actually, just saying about first look at the session, using it throughout the conference. Fantastic. Really great to hear, Ashley. And if you have any questions at all, please do reach out. I love that you're using it for conference curation. There's so much information. You're going to sessions, lots of them, and taking in a lot of information. So being able to save them down into one place and then kind of like having some downtime later on to go through them at your own pace, and then kind of sort them and organize them how you want to, and then share them with others in future, is a great way to use Wakelet. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. I'm glad you're finding the benefit there as well. Love this idea for professional learning. Fantastic. When teachers or teach teams work in development. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, it's a great way to not only deliver resources, but also have them working all together that way as well. So I'm going to jump back, see if there's any questions, because I know we're running out of time. So I'm going to jump back, see if there was any questions just in the chat before we jump off. But thank you so much for those comments coming through. They're fantastic. I am going to also grab the link to the collection that I was sharing. So you've all got a copy of that. And then you can kind of look for it at your own leisure. And then you've got all of those resources there as well. But yeah, any questions just before we jump off? Maria just saying, want to start playing around with it. Fantastic. That's what we like to hear. And yeah, like I said, if when you're setting up, you can sign up completely free. And yeah, if when you're playing about with it, you have any questions, please do reach out. I've put my information in that collection there, so you can check out, you know, ask any questions that you may have later on with.